Welcome. Today's subject is English language, and the topic is listening to understand a speaker's style. I am Anthony Onai, and I'll be your instructor for today. Lesson objective. At the end of this teaching, students should be able to listen to a work of art, identify the writer's style, exposition, narration, description, and arguments. Introduction. Every writer or speaker writes for a specific purpose, and in order to achieve their aims or objectives, they need to employ certain writing styles. Now, in writing or public speaking, a speaker adopts a certain style to speak to the audience. It could be exposition, narration, description, or argumentation. It is important that you are able to identify which style the writer or speaker is making use of. We'll be taking a look at the various styles of speaking. Now, with this topic, you'll be able to identify each method or style a speaker or a writer is using. You could be reading a book, and through this teaching today, you'll be able to know which the author is using. Could be narrating, could be describing, could be an argument, it could be an exposition. Expository. The word expository means explaining something. An expository speech is a type of speech in which you explain an idea, experience, or a process out loud. The writer is trying to explain a concept, imparting information from themselves to a wider audience. Expository writing does not include the author's opinions, but focuses on accepted facts about a topic, including statistics or other evidence. Now, the writer or the speaker is trying to explain something based on facts. It is not on his own opinion, but what he has gathered over time from others. Examples include textbooks, articles on how to do things, recipes, news stories, business, technical or scientific writing. Narrative method. A narrative writing of speech is used to tell a story, often one that is based on personal experience. The author will create different characters and tell you what happens to them. Sometimes the author writes from the point of view of one of the characters. This is known as first-person narration. Now, in narrative writing, it's more like a story. You know, in storytelling, it could be you're telling a story from what someone else experienced or from your own personal experience. In most storybooks, most novels, most movies, narrative writing is being used in playwrights. This is what is being used in novels. You tell a story, you bring in characters, and you narrate what happened. You could be narrating a scene, or even when you're trying to explain a movie to someone, you tell them about the various actors, the good guys, the bad guys. You bring in plays, you bring in names. This is called narrative writing or speaking. Examples of narrative speech or writing could be oral histories, talking about the history, novels, poetry, short stories, anecdotes. Descriptive writing and speech is mainly to describe. It is a style that focuses on describing a character, an event, or a place in great detail. It is often found in fiction, though it can make appearance in non-fiction as well. When an author writes in a descriptive style, they are painting a picture of words of a person, place, or thing for their audience. The author or speaker might employ metaphor or other literary devices in order to describe the author's impression through their five senses, what they hear, see, smell, taste, or touch. Now, in descriptive writing, you're trying to, as the word implies, describe something. You're trying to describe a place. If you're trying to describe the setting of a house, for example, when someone says, describe your room, or describe the house you live in, describe your living room, so when you come in, by the left, the TV is there, and you have chairs, you describe the color of the chairs, and you describe the dining room, and you can say, when I went into the kitchen, there was something on the fire, you describe what is there, or I perceived that they were cooking from the smell or the aroma coming into the living room from the kitchen. So you have described everything. Examples is poetry, journal or diary, description of nature, fictional novels or plays. For instance, the iPhone 6 is unexpectedly light, while the size of his screen is bigger than those of other iPhones. It is thinner, smooth, and round. This is describing the new iPhone 6. You've talked about the light, which is its weight. Talked about the size. The screen is bigger. You've talked about the texture, and you've talked about the shape being smooth and round. Moving further, argumentative writing or speech. The main purpose of this style is to convince the audience to alter their viewpoint or belief. The style contains the author's or speaker's opinions and biases, as well as justification and reasons given by the author as evidence of the correctness of their position. This is a persuasive style of writing. This is more persuasive. For example, it's like a debate. You're speaking for or against, and you're trying to convince the audience, the listeners, the viewers, the judges, that your own point is correct. Sometimes it is based on facts. You give them facts, you give them illustrations, you let them know why they should adopt your own method instead of the next one or your opponent's. Examples are advertisements, letters of complaints, cover letters, editorial newspaper articles, debate reviews. In advertisements, when in advertising, you're trying to convince others that your product is better than the others, and you give them reasons why they should go for your own product instead of others. In persuasive writing or speaking, the author takes a stand and asks you to agree with his or her point of view. Conclusion. Now, these are the 4 different types of writing that are generally used. There are many subtypes of writing or speaking that may fall in any of these categories. You must know all these styles in order to identify the style a speaker or an author is using. When you're able to understand the style, you can easily understand and relate to what is being said. A summary of it all is that expository is to explain something, narrative is to tell a story, descriptive to describe something in details, argumentative to persuade or convince others. I believe with this short lesson, you've been able to know the style of speaking and writing. Now, guys, number 1, is it possible to identify a speaker's style just by listening? Number 2, mention 4 types of writing or speaking. 3, identify the style used in the following. In advert, what style is used? In debates, in news, in school presentation. Your answers and inquiries to be sent to this email address, jimosmith@edufairs.ng. Thank you for listening. Do have a great day. See you next time. Bye.